and welcome back to Books with Carol, and today we are gonna play 20 questions. I recently asked on my Instagram for everyone to submit some questions that I would answer in something special, so here we are. It's so funny because I feel like there's been so many different versions of me on the internet that, I feel like everyone knows everything about me, but obviously not, because I am just a tiny drop of water in an ocean full of water. But between growing up on the internet, putting way too much out there because it wasn't as regulated or, as known as it is now, being a fan on the internet, I have a whole Twitter full of my fangirl nonsense up there. I have a whole Instagram with my shop account where I've done multiple ones of these get to know me's, but they're all very much related to the shop and also being a fangirl. Then obviously there's my full-time job where I'm online all the time, where it doesn't really get that personal, but you still feel like you're giving a side of yourself. And then there's now, obviously, I've been on Bookstagram for over 2 years, but this year I'm really trying to do more and be more present, more online, give a bit more of myself if there's anything left, and, just seeing what's out there. So if this is the first encounter you have of me, welcome. I hope you're gonna stick around. But here we go. So first question, I made that one up because I thought it was a good one to start with. Name. So my name is Carol Ann. I am French and I live in London. There you go. That was an easy one to get out of the way. Second question, your ultimate comfort read. The one book that I've read multiple times is probably Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I think I've read this book 3 or 4 times now, and I just adore it. It has no conflict. It's just a warm, cozy, hot beverage in a book. It's just, yeah, I think that would be my comfort read. I feel like I can read it if I'm happy, if I'm sad, if I'm heartbroken, if I'm drained. I can always just go back to this book. And honestly, anything by B.K. Borison just feels like an absolute hug and comfort. A book that you love, but not enough people talk about it. Okay. I would say that a book I love, but not enough people talk about it, is Savor It by Tara DeWitt. Tara DeWitt writes the most heart-wrenching, beautiful, inspiring love romance novels. They're so loving, they're so tender, they're so heartbreaking, but in a good way, in a way that just makes you feel like your heart will be cut out and put back together with the most insane amount of care, if that makes sense. Not enough people talk about Tara DeWitt. I feel like in the UK especially, she's still very much underappreciated. She's had, so you might recognize, she's the author of Funny Feelings, which went viral on Book Talk a couple years ago. But her current series, Savor It, and the upcoming Left of Forever is just absolutely, it needs a lot more hype than it currently does. That's what I'll say. What are some tropes that will immediately make you pick up a book? Marriage of convenience. I love a my wife moment, which is funny because I'm not very much someone who inspires to get married. But when that my wife hits, the first one I read for this was probably Marriage for One. I don't know if it's the first marriage convenience that I read actually, but it's definitely the one that just insanely brought the trope towards the front of my lobe for me. I just fucking love it. I'm sorry, no swearing. Are we allowed to swear on YouTube? Who cares? Marriage of convenience would be the first trope that I would insanely just immediately look into the book. The second one would be, you know, I love an enemies to lovers, but I feel like that's just very basic for me to say. I love a forced proximity. Yeah. Yeah. Especially with enemies to lovers, with forced proximity just has something. It just, oh God, it's just in there, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I'll leave it at that, okay? Top 3 auto by authors. Okay, well that's easy. I've already mentioned 2 authors that I absolutely love, B.K. Borison and Tara Dewitt. For the sake of, you know, making sure that I talk about lots of authors, I'm not going to include them. But if you know me at all, you know that they're included. Top 5 auto by authors? I don't know. I would say Ali Hazelwood, definitely. You can see her stack here. I love Ali Hazelwood. I would say Jessica Joyce, the author of You with a View and The X Vows. And then I would say Kennedy Ryan. So I'm still getting through Kennedy Ryan's backlist, but every single book of hers that I've read has just absolutely amazed me. Her writing is just absolutely perfect. So yeah, so even though I'm still getting through the backlist, I would say she is and is becoming an author by author for me, for sure. What am I currently reading? I've actually just finished Deep End last night, and I'm still undecided as to what I'll read next. But that said, I think it's either going to be Spring Awakening by J.S. Jasper. I said it right this time. It's either going to be that one or The Baby Dragon Cafe or Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. You can see there on my TBR, which is only a small glimpse of my TBR. It's unfortunately a lot bigger than this. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna start reading one of those 3 tonight. My favorite romantasy. So I definitely have a few favorites, I think, in that. But my absolute favorite is probably a very basic answer. But you know what? I'll be honest, I'm a Fourth Wing girly. I absolutely adore that series. It made me feel seen in so many different ways. And I just absolutely adore it. I have a whole collection, which maybe I'll insert in this clip, but it just, the fantasy in it, just, you know, it might not be high fantasy. I feel like it's more fantasy dystopian sometimes, but I absolutely love it. And the romance, Xaden, is just, has my whole heart. Maybe I shouldn't give him my heart. How do you organize your bookshelf? As you can see behind me, I do not organize my bookshelf. Really? I don't really have an organization system here. I've done it by series, I guess. So here I have a Chloe Lee's shelf for the Bergman brothers. Here I have a Love Light Farms shelf for B.K. Borison. I've got a stack of Ali Hazelwood, which isn't really series. Right behind me, I've got Liana de la Rosa, Tara Dewitt, Hannah Grace. Here you can see Hannah Bonham Young and Sarah Hawley. You can't really see, but maybe I'll show you after. I've got all my proofs down here. which I should probably get rid of some because they're starting to take over my bookshelf. And then I actually have a whole other bookshelf that you can't see, which has all my hardbacks because this little shelf cannot fit a hardback, which is heartbreaking. I think I am gonna have to make some tough decisions this year because although you can see here, half of this bookshelf is empty. And I still have one row on my other bookshelf. But I still think I'm going to have to make some hard decision in the next 1 or 2 years, for sure. No organization whatsoever, just vibes. Yeah. Which rom-com would you really relive the plot of? Ooh, okay. I am a big fan of 10 Things I Hate About You. I think it has to be one of my favorite rom-coms. Yeah, I just love that movie so much. What book do you hate with a burning passion? Ooh, you know what? There's really not that many books that I hate because I'm not a hater, I'm a lover, which I know doesn't get views on the internet, but why would I waste my time reading books that I don't like? There have been books that I've DNF'd. There has been books that I've been really angry at and DNF'd, but I don't know. I can't say. Should I say? There are 2 books that I'm thinking of right now, and one of them is a beloved author by the community, and the other is an up-and-coming self-published indie author. So really none of them 2 I would want to say anything bad about. But just know that I personally very much disliked their book. And I say that singular because they have multiple books and I just haven't picked up their other books. So really it could just be that one book. But I won't say more. I'm trying not to get cancelled here, guys. Favorite YA book? Ooh, okay. I absolutely adored Fake Dates and Mooncakes by Cher Lee. I just thought that this was a book that was just so cute. It's just so insanely adorable. It's so funny. And it also really poses some questions on, you know, the background and cultural background and you know, traditions. Oldest book on my bookshelf. Okay, I think I have to get up for that one. Let me go get it. So the actual oldest book on my bookshelf, but I've only owned it for about a year, is this book, which is Falling Apart, which is funny because it's a book on bookbinding. My dad got it for me at Christmas last year. Thought it was quite funny to give it to me. He found it when he was going through my grandfather's collection. And so this is the oldest book in my possession. It is from, it doesn't actually say a date on there. There's no copyright page? What do you mean? It's in French. It absolutely stinks. It's obviously very disheveled. This is my oldest book. The oldest book that I've owned is another French book, Poil de Carotte. I think it's one of the oldest baby book that I remember reading. Also, it's funny because it has my name on it. But yeah, I don't actually remember what this book is about, but I just remember liking it. So yeah, those are the 2 oldest books in my collection. Your most cherished book. Okay, so I did not know how to answer that one because I cherish all my books and I have so many that I absolutely adore and I would never get rid of them. That said, The one I think that I cherish the most, and then I would probably save from a burning building. God, can you imagine? I would try and save all my books, which would probably get me killed. And you know what? No, let's not go there. Okay, so my most cherished book, I will say, is a proof copy of One for My Enemy that I have annotated with my thoughts. So here, and also it is signed by Queen Olivia, who called me her queen. So yeah, I absolutely adore that. And I remember when I asked her to sign it, she mentioned of how well loved that proof was. Also it's super floppy. Maybe I should read it again. I really want to read it again though. But yeah, still have my notes in there. I wonder if there's any tear stains on there. Ooh. Yeah. So yeah, I love this book. A book you're scared to read. Ooh, okay. I think there's multiples that I'm scared to read. Some of them is because they're like 8-book series and I'm just like, I'm scared to get invested. Ooh, a book that I'm scared of reading and that I will probably never read, and I don't want to read it. I'm just scared of the content. Haunting Adeline. Yeah. Not for me, I think. Preferred reading format. So I think I will always prefer reading on my Kindle, on an e-reader, just because of the convenience, the ease of it, and just it's just so much nicer on my wrist, especially when my body's hurting, as it always is. And at night it's easier to read. It's easier to read on my commute. It's easier to go on holiday with it. It's not as cool for photos, but it's my preferred way of reading, I think. It doesn't hurt as much when it falls on my face when I'm sleeping. You know, it just has so many benefits to me. The only issue is that you have to plug it in sometimes. But I can do that. I can take care of it. Your favorite special edition. Ooh, okay, so I have a few of these. And I did pick out one that I just think it looks, you know, it looks classy. It looks like nice and clean. I love the foiling on it. It looks like an old book. It looks just, I love it. Obviously, if all the special editions came like it, I don't think I would like it as much. It's probably very basic. I just, in this case, just really love it. It is the Fairy Loot edition of the Wren and the Holly Library. I just love the colors on it so much. I feel like the gold foil adds to it. The sleeping cat is just gorgeous. The spine, look at that wren with the holly. It's just so pretty. The edges, so cute. The naked cover, again, it just looks so clean, so subtle, so foily. I just love it so much. And then it also has foiled end papers. I just think that this was just really well done. Your favorite book cover. And I am probably biased on this, but I gasped when I saw it. It's just so pretty. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. I just love it so much. The colors, the art style, this illustrator, I've been following them for ages. And also Fake Dates and Mooncakes is the same illustrator as well, and I already loved them at that point. This cover, it's just so pretty. And also, you know, humble brag here, I already have it, although by the time that this video comes out everyone will have it, but I have it now. I'm sorry, that was mean. Favorite book merch. I have quite a bit of book merch. Not as much as I want, but that's because I'm trying to, you know, not spend all my money. But I will mention, I'll put a screenshot of where to find the creator of this. But my favorite book merch is actually very dangerous because I've used it a couple times and I've hurt myself. But look at this bookmark. It's just so pretty. But yeah, it's a bit dangerous. But look at it. It's for fourth wing, it's Tarn the dragon with some violets and a dagger. And yes, these hurt as well. But it's just so pretty. 3 books for people to know me, I would say. Savor It by Tara Dewitt. Mostly for the aspect of moving to somewhere new, being disoriented, and I've never actually fallen in love with my next door neighbor, but you know, I dream about it all the time, so I feel like this could be good to get to know me. Second of all, first time caller, no one saw this coming, right? First time caller, because despite being a lover of romance, I think that I relate a lot to Aiden Valentine. I've become a bit jaded with romance, with my own romance, not romance books. And they're also, I just very much relate to Aiden Valentine. I don't relate as much to Lucy, but that's just because I'm not a single mom. But I get the bit of her just, you know, just not wanting to work as much to get that magic. I just want it to happen, you know? So yeah, so I relate to this book so much. I absolutely loved it. It made me cry when I read it. Cross the Line by Simone Sultani is definitely a book to get to know me as well. I'm not necessarily a Formula One fan. I grew up watching it against my will, but I relate to Willow quite a lot. You know, she's a social media manager. She's trying to find her place in the world and make sure that she's useful. She's also dealing with chronic illness. And I just think that she is so inspiring and I love them. I love their romance. Are 3 books to get to know me. Is there such a thing as too much garlic in a recipe? And well, let me tell you, Emma, no, there's no such thing as too much garlic in a recipe. What do you mean? No. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe and like the video and, you know, check out in a week for what's next.